Hello, friends. Thank you so much for being here with me at Non-Toxic Home. I'm coming at you from our non-toxic home. I'm talking to you today about something that you might want to consider applying to your garden this year. And I applied it to my garden this year. I wish I'd applied it last year. I hope it works this year. Last year, my garden kind of failed on me. Part of it was pests because we live in the woods, and the soil is pretty new as far as being disturbed, and there wasn't as much of a variety of plants around. There weren't many weeds, weren't a whole lot of wildflowers, and this year there are a lot more weeds. Let me tell you that. Wow. And there are a lot more wildflowers around. I've also just planted a whole bunch of different kinds of uh, flowers to attract beneficial pollinators specifically that are also medicinal. So double whammy, right? Well, actually triple whammy because they're pretty too. And so that was one thing that contributed to the garden last year failing pretty much. I mean, I still got some things out of it, but not nearly what I needed or wanted. And this year, I applied zeolite. It's also called clineptolite. I don't know. I have so much trouble just spelling the word. There are some words I just can't seem to remember how to pronounce or write. So it is zeolite. Now, this can be picked up from a farm supply store, such as Tractor Supply. That's where I get mine. I get the Sweet PDZ brand. If you look at the back of the bag, it'll tell you exactly what's in there, generally speaking. And it's just the clineptolite. I sound so educated, don't I? All right, good job, Purdue. Oh, so much for that 4.0 GPA, right? All right, so the garden last year also had a problem with what I later realized to be aluminum toxicity. Now, this property that we're on is 6 acres of woods. There hasn't been a farm here or any kind of agricultural activity besides some lumber harvesting for many years. And there hasn't even been anything driven here prior to our clearing some of the area for our home and garden. It's been at least 30 years. There was a section that was cleared out that was basically turned into a stream, but it was to build the pond behind us, and that had to have been at least 30 years ago. The property was owned by a neighbor a couple doors down, and all he did with it was put stakes around it, like basically metal stakes for property marking purposes, and he harvested a few trees. That's all. And so there were no heavy metal issues here. We did most of the excavating and that sort of work ourselves. And we were here almost every day that there was any work going on at all. There were no heavy metal dumps. There is no reason for our garden to have aluminum toxicity unless it was being sprayed down from above. Right? That's not a conspiracy theory. Don't try to tell me it is. This has been discussed in governmental hearings. Geoengineering is a thing. It is not a theory. There's no question of it. Now, the makeup of what is being sprayed is of question. There have been some very concerning studies done, and heavy metals and aluminum are one of the prime components. And aluminum, obviously, at a certain point, has a huge impact on plants. And it wasn't until late fall when I realized that symptoms that my plants were exhibiting, which were absolutely puzzling to me and I'd never seen before in my entire life, were in fact due to aluminum toxicity. So zeolite binds with heavy metals, and that is why I'm applying it to my garden this year. And the bag of Sweet PDZ is like $10 for 5 pounds, I think. It goes quite a good way. I actually bought it originally for my chickens, for the chicken coop. I throw it on the sand and it helps make it smell better. When it smells, it usually doesn't really smell because I keep it pretty clean. But I strongly recommend considering spending the $10 this year and putting that on top of your mulch if you mulch in your garden or on top of your soil. Now, there is the potential that it could absorb some of the good things in your soil, but man, the spraying is happening everywhere, all over, and it has drastically increased in our area. Last year, I can't count how many days they were spraying here, and as of 2016, it was once a month, one plane once a month, and that was it. And now it is almost every day, many times a day, so many times I can't even count. This is a very heavily wooded area. It is a bit of a tourist trap, and I believe that some of the plant and tree diseases that are ravaging this area are by design. And if not for the aluminum toxicity, parasites and other issues can be sprayed from above. Now, the government has done all sorts of experiments over the years on us without our consent. Do your research. Don't believe me blindly. I don't want you to be a sheep. Follow me around. Bad. No, don't do that. Go do your research. Don't believe what don't believe what I say, don't believe what the news says. Do the research for yourself. The information is out there. You just have to be open-minded enough to look for it and to care, to have a heart for the truth. Now, the zeolite, as I mentioned, is pretty cheap. It's an affordable plan to hopefully prevent what happened again last year. However, at the same time, I wonder if they might be spraying something else this year. So you can only do what you can do and just have to trust God to give you the wisdom and the knowledge and the foresight to prepare as best you can for whatever may come your way. And then just trust that He'll always take care of you no matter what, because you're His child, just as I am. Thanks so much for being here. I hope this provided a bit of information for you as to something that you might consider applying to your garden this year, and I hope it helps. I really hope it does. I'll have to update after everything is all done. Thanks so much for being here. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, and be sure to join in on our weekly newsletter over on our website. Thanks so much. Bye.